Hello and welcome back to another Orky episode. We carry on
Woo!
with some painting because I need to paint. This is a pretty good reason. And Sheepy's gonna carry on telling us about Squigs, I think.
Orcs, but specifically the subclass of orcs known as Squigs or squiggly beasts.
Squigs.
Yeah, essentially, Tash very much wants to know everything about Squigs possible. Do you have your Squig there? Is he?
Yes, he is. He's started to get painted. Hang on.
So
This
awesome.
manual
I love
focus
Squigs.
thing is aggravating.
His hairstyle makes him look like he's a parrot Squig, except for he doesn't have a beak or anything,
I mean,
and the perch and everything.
he does have big teeth.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
He's actually, I believe, like just an attack Squig, I think.
Oh. I thought it might be like a little alarm squig or something. But, you know, you never know with the orcs. It could be anything.
So Squigs.
Squigs.
Squigs are cool. They're the essential reason why the orcs are so fucking versatile and, you know, all that kind of nonsense. They eat everything the orcs throw away, and also any plants, animals, other things, Gretchen, snotlings, each other, sometimes even orcs. And orcs eat squigs.
Okay.
So it's the circle of life. It really is not beautiful, but it really is something. Yeah, essentially they are the best way to describe squigs is that they are the biological equivalent of a Swiss Army knife. You know, it's like, do you need something to eat? We've got a squig for that. Do you want some hair? We got a squig for that. You know, do you want, I don't know, literally anything really? Like, there's probably a squig for that.
Yeah, I mean, do they... Okay. The meme.
Do you want to say it?
So, wait. Do they kind of reproduce as quickly and a lotly like orc do to, you know, survive them eating themselves and each other? And
Well, I mean, the squigs are essentially the same, like, let's call it component. They're all made up of the same fungi, weird, mushroomy crap.
that's what I thought.
So,
but I like
yeah.
okay.
So when you shoot an orc and its biomatter goes all over the place. You know, 100 years go by and it kind of like some mushrooms start growing underground. And then the first things to kind of turn up are the snotlings, and the snotlings start kind of like shoveling shit around, and slowly you start to get squigs, you start to get Gretchen. The Gretchen form camps, they start like herding the squigs and you know, getting more of them and eating them, and then some orcs turn up, start bossing Gretchen around, but yeah, the squigs are like the base of orc society. Let's where are they? Squigs. So all squigs are edible.
Essentially, taste nice.
I don't think orcs care too much for taste. They have a tendency to eat whatever. They eat, as far as I know, I think they eat each other sometimes too. They eat the snotlings and the Gretchen too. It's all kind of like, you know,
it's fine.
very strange.
It's fine.
Um, the from what I know, the Gretchen are the ones that cook the squigs that are raised by the snotlings, but at the same time, if there's no Gretchen to cook a squig, an orc will just eat a squig, like, just pick it up and stuff it in his mouth and carry on.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
There are some like delicacy squigs, I think. I think there's one called like where is it? Yeah, a juicy squig.
Mm.
And that requires like a specialist cook, like Gretchen, to cook it because it needs to be prepared properly or something. That sounds like someone letting the law get away with them, and they're just like, oh yeah, and also there's a juicy. My thought is that probably orcs don't care much about cooking.
I think that they're like mushrooms, and that's how they're spores, and some taste better than others, and some are probably poisonous, but that's okay because they've got really strong stomachs.
Well, I mean, if they don't poison you, really, are they poisonous?
I mean, yeah, a little.
Yeah.
Like,
So we're gonna go through the list.
I'm ready.
The list is like all the different types of squigs and what they do, and
I think
it.
Did do that.
We didn't.
I think we did.
Would you like to bet?
Yeah.
Okay. So, from like last time, please tell me the list of squigs that you remember me talking about.
Okay. So there's obviously attack squigs, there's bomb squigs,
Yes.
there's hair squigs,
Yes.
so that they
These
can look
were all
like
ones
hair.
I mentioned earlier today.
No, you didn't mention the hair ones. You mentioned the parrot one.
I did mention that.
There's loads. I remember seeing it and talking about it because you sent pictures. So I'm sure we have.
I don't think we have.
We could do it again. I'm quite happy to, but I'm sure we have.
Okay. So there are attack squigs.
Yeah.
Which is your boy right there who's on the pole, and he's just
Chilling
trying to
out.
work his way through college.
Hmm.
No, we're not gonna. Okay. I thought that was
No,
quite a good joke.
because look, the Chaos Gods are already in college. We can't have Squigs going to college too.
Okay. So attack squigs are just essentially they're like dogs, like attack dogs.
Yeah.
You have them, you keep them on a leash, you let them go, and they just turn into like a melee all by themselves. More often than not, because they're not like they can be quite large sometimes, and they can be very dangerous, but they don't have guns or anything. Most of the time, they just kind of charge and jump, and then try and chomp down on whatever they can chomp down on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if you do that to a space marine, it's like, yeah,
What are you
okay,
doing,
but
little creature.
yeah. So generally, they kind of like herd them towards the enemy and just kind of let them go crazy. It causes a little bit of chaos, and if you do it against like Imperial Guardsmen, it's obviously gonna do some damage. The Gretchen and just in general, they are also used as a food source. The funny, like, I'd love to see a little animated short of Gretchen trying to herd up attack squigs for food.
So that they don't get eaten.
Yeah, it's literally like half the time the Gretchen gets eaten instead of the squig kind of thing. So, if you're a Gretchen and your job is to, provide food, and your like herd or whatever is attack squigs, every time you go in, it's 50-50, you're gonna get eaten or the squigs are gonna get eaten. So yeah, that's a very, very basic attack squig.
They get a bad lot, don't they, the Gretchen?
They do, but they're kind of like I mean, when you think about it, like the orcs kind of get a bad lot too. They just don't really notice that they get a bad lot, and don't really care
Yeah, at least they
about it
enjoy
either.
their work.
Yeah, this is the thing. Is like I don't think a Gretchen really ever goes, wow, I'm, what a shit hand life has dealt me. Woe is me, and all of that type of stuff. They're all they're all kind of designed just to get on with their jobs and do the things that they were genetically engineered for, I guess. So, bag squigs. Bag squigs are essentially a big, blobby. Yeah,
Makes me think
they're
of Mr. Blobby.
yeah. No, I thought of that too, and only British people are going to get that joke because no one knows who fuck Mr. Blobby is. They're basically entirely they're just one big stomach surrounded by some squig, and obviously, like they eat. They have a big stomach, so they eat a lot, but also they very slowly digest things. So what they are actually used for is like when they're killed or whatever, they're used as either drinking flasks, or they can essentially be tanned and made into a bag or a belt pouch.
Right. I don't think
Seeing
I'd
if
like to
there's
have, stomach acid water.
well, like they get dried out. They
Still, you'd know.
yeah. I mean, I don't think orcs are particularly too bothered about it, but yeah, no, it's a fair thing. I don't think I'd be like, hey, I'm going to have this here's this squig with digestive stomachs and juices and everything. Oh, I'll just like tip my monster into there and then no.
No.
Just as a complete aside, I searched for bag squigs to see if there's any to see if there's any like pictures of them or anything. I can't find any, but there is that which I sent to you.
I love it.
Yeah, for those of you who can't see it, it's literally like a shoulder bag
A canvas
with just
bag, kind of.
yeah, canvas bag with like a squig face on it. Oh, that's great. It's a tote bag.
Yeah, that's the word.
Yeah.
But they're often made of canvas, aren't they? So.
Yeah. So anyway, that's a bag squig. It's one of those things where it's like probably orcs need to carry stuff. Let's make a squig for that. There's bile squigs.
Oh.
Which
I think you should let me guess what they do.
Well, you know what's funny is I like how you said guess because you're so adamant that we've already talked about this. I'm like, so Tash, what is a bile squig?
We did. You went through a lot of them because you just riffed them off.
I think possibly I may have mentioned some of them during the talk, but I don't think we went through them or anything.
No, you were like riffing them off like this, and I was like, oh, okay, but that's what I mean. Like they were listed, so we just didn't go in depth with them.
I'm not 100% sure about that, but okay. So bile squig.
I feel like they use it as like a gun, and it shoots acid balls.
Close, but not quite. They are essentially squigs that squirt, spray, or vomit harmful fluids.
Perfect.
So essentially, they put them in like essentially catapults and launchers and that type of thing, and they fire them at the enemy.
Yeah.
And then when they hit, they either explode or just spray vomit everywhere. I'm much more comfortable with spray or vomit than I am with squirt.
I'm trying to paint.
Sorry.
I was just thinking about really, really, really drunk people.
Yeah.
And, they fall into something and then... Yeah.
Squirt everywhere.
Projectile bomb is what I was thinking.
So, essentially... It's kind of like a catch-all phrase, bile, right? So sometimes it's acid, sometimes it's lubricant, sometimes it's poison, sometimes it's something, kind of weird bio-flammable shit. And a lot of the time it's not... Like, it really depends, because if you get hit by a bile squig that sprays acid everywhere... You're not going to have a good time. That's not particularly fun. But if it's like lubricant, it's like, okay, sure. If they throw some feathers at you, it'll stick. If it's some flammable random crap, it's like, okay, just don't go near an open flame for a bit. But then again, if they also, because they generally tend to get a whole load of them in like an arm. And then like launch them at people. So there's probably one that like just squirts fire everywhere too.
Or duck feathers.
Or duck feathers.
You could fill up a bag squig with duck feathers.
Yes.
And you could, yeah.
I was wondering if there was more to that.
And you could throw, you could launch like. It's fine. This is how you make the Imperial Army look like chickens.
Oh, like actual chickens.
Yeah.
Right. My brain wasn't quite up with you there.
No, like you
and
get the one that has like the glue, and then they're covered in glue, and then you throw the bag squig, and it's full of feathers.
Yeah.
And then they look like chickens.
My brain went a lot more to the make them look like scaredy cats. Like they were scared as opposed to actual chickens.
Well, it's all right. That's why I'm here.
It's true. I guess.
For the stupid ideas.
The one way that could be like a really funny orc story or a little bit of lore piece is like the orcs fired a whole load of sticky oil, that type of thing, along with a whole load of feather squigs. And the Imperial Guardsmen got covered with feathers and, were running around squawking and stuff, to the point where all of the orcs were like, oh, those are just chickens. And then all the Imperial Guardsmen just turned into chickens.
And that's how you get that... my brain's like faction, but that's not the right word. That legion, the birdmen. Yeah,
and also there are technically not actually technically, but there's a faction or a race in 40k that are called chickens.
Oh really?
Yeah, they're the crude.
Oh, I feel like I've heard of the crude.
You will have heard of the crude. They're kind of weird lizard people. They're kind of like intelligent dinosaurs, but like the small dinosaurs. But they also look a bit like chickens. They have some similarities with orcs in a few weird ways. Like have you ever heard "You are what you eat"?
Yeah.
Yeah, the crude kind of, when they eat something, they kind of take on the genetic traits of that thing.
They should be best friends with the Tyranids.
Right? If the crude eat like I've so weighted myself.
I know. I was just about to So wait, have they ever crossed paths? Has there been a crude and a Tyranid fighting? Tell me about this.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that at all. It hasn't been in my research, so I can't say for sure.
We're gonna just stop the episode while Sheepy does some new research, because that's what we're talking about now.
Where we're talking about crude. Oh God. So yeah, no, the crude, like if a crude eats an orc, which they do sometimes, they get a lot bigger, they get a lot more aggressive, a lot more warlike.
Mm-hmm.
If they eat an Eldar, I don't know, they
Careful.
yeah. Well, no, that's Dark Eldar. That would be Drakari.
Well, the Eldar aren't so pristine.
Mm.
They write poetry and fall in love, then don't
You
rescue
saying that's not pristine?
their relationship, ditch the other one. Still bitter about that.
So that's Squigs.
Bile Squiggs.
Then you have Bitey Squiggs.
Uh-huh.
Again, these go in the launchers, and essentially they're I think they tend to be fairly small. But they're basically pretty much all jaws and like claws and maybe stingers even. Just anything to kind of fuck you up. And
Is this guy not
after
definitely one? Like, he has big teeth and he's got big claws, but he's just a baby.
Yeah, I mean he's the chain indicates attack squig.
Maybe he's just not ready to fight yet, but he's just so eager.
Yeah. He can go out there and kick their butts. I told them I was gonna kick their ass.
This is
So,
such
yeah,
a weird episode. Like, we are all over the place today.
Oh yeah. So they essentially get launched at the enemy too. I guess they could probably be included with bile squigs, but they might get covered in acid and stuff themselves too. So
It's not like
you know.
the Orks will care about that.
No, not really. It's very probable. Then you have bomb squigs. Bomb squigs are yeah. So bomb squigs aren't really a breed of squig.
Mm-hmm.
It's literally just the orcs taking an attack squig or anything like super one of the more aggressive types of orcs. One of the more aggressive types of squigs, and then just strapping a bomb to them, and then they charge at the enemy.
That's perfect. What more do you need, really?
Yeah, like so sometimes it's stick bombs, and stick bombs are
Like dynamite?
like grenades.
Oh, okay.
They have that look of do you know kind of World War II German grenades? You know, they look kind of like clubs, like short clubs a little bit.
Yeah, that's what I think of when I think of throwing dynamite in a weird way.
Yeah. So that's what the orc stick bombs look like, except for they're even more, basic and crude and yeah. I sometimes I wonder if they look like clubs because like the orcs are just like, well, if I don't get to throw it, maybe I could just smack someone in the face with it. It's like, well, but it would explode, and then the orc would be like, yeah, obviously.
And it'd do its job.
Yeah, it's fun.
This is fun to paint, actually. Like,
what, the orc?
these little spikes that I'm doing.
Oh.
Oh, finickety, but it's fun. Like, it's going to be such a cute colour.
And do you know who complained about my choice of orc?
You?
No. Why would I complain about my own choice of orc mini to paint?
Because you have changeable moods.
So boom squigs.
Yep.
Boom squigs. Are technically speaking, I feel like they should be the bomb squigs, I guess, and the others should be the boom squigs. Because these ones, they have, I don't know why, they have their own defense mechanism.
Right.
They explode.
Oh.
If they get provoked, or whatever.
Squig has self-destruct.
Yeah, it's like It's like if you touch one, or if it gets surprised, or sometimes if it just like needs to
Sneezes?
fart, yeah, or sneezes,
Oh,
it'll
you
just
went
blow up.
you went the nice way. Wait, I went the nice way. You said
You went the nice way.
yeah.
One of us did.
Who knows anymore?
Um, so, so yeah, essentially, they just explode like quite violently and kill things that are nearby. So sometimes they're used as ammunition, to throw at people. Sometimes they use like grenades to be thrown at people. Sometimes they'll go around in trucks and buggies and stuff and just drop them off the side
I
as like
think I've
landmines
seen
and
those
stuff.
in a mini.
Really?
I feel like on one of the vehicle ones where they've got loads of squigs in a truck bed. And they're
Oh,
like
yeah, probably then, yeah.
throwing it out, I think.
They're also probably the go-to practical joke amongst orcs.
Oh, because they like a hide.
Yeah. So if you're an orc and you're bored and you're kind of like, what's going on here? Um, then you'll put it like under your driver's seat and he'll sit down and explode.
Perfect.
Or you put it under their pillow, and when they go to sleep at night, it just explodes and the head gets blown off, and everyone's like, ha, 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 ha. Funny
What
joke.
a funny prank, bro.
Yeah. There's one called a battle torrent squig. Doesn't really go into detail about them. It says the name speaks for itself, and I'm like,
does it though?
I'm like, it does kind of, because I'm assuming like it's maybe it's a laxative.
Did I not hear the name right? Like, what did you say?
Bowel torrent.
Oh, I thought you said Baltarant. And I was like, I don't know what this is supposed to reference. Is that like a 40k thing?
No, bowel torrent.
Yes, then it does speak for itself. That makes so much more sense.
But again, like, it could just be so scary that you poo yourself.
Maybe it's so scary that they poo themselves because the other option is lots of poop.
What?
Like, either way, they're so scared of it.
You're so scared that your other option is what?
Just death by diarrhea.
Okay.
Yeah, I said it. It's fine. I need to like get a grip on my life today. What am I talking about?
It doesn't go into detail, so I can't tell exactly. I'm going to assume that it's a like diuretic, squig, but it's possible that it's just really big and scary and it makes you poo yourself. So who knows? It hasn't been got into detail. It's one of those ones you could make your own mind up about.
How much damage does it do in the tabletop?
I'm not sure it's on the tabletop.
What?
Yeah, I think it's just a lore thing. There are burner squigs.
Are they on fire?
Yeah, they burst into flames.
Good.
Like, you hear the stories about these squigs, right? And you're like, how do orcs exist?
They believe they can, and so they can.
Yeah, it's one of those things, it's just like we've already gone through one type of squig that randomly like sprays poison or acid everywhere. Two types that randomly explode, and one type that randomly sets on fire. And you're just like, guys, seriously.
Come on now.
How do you just go your day-to-day life when everything around you randomly explodes or sets on fire? And if you're lucky, it will spray you with like oil or something. So I have the feeling like it happens a lot, but because they're orcs, it's not really super important. It's like, oh, did did Jerry explode again? It's like, yeah, no, he.
I was gonna say, are there any like or many big named orcs who appear a lot and have like good stories, and it would be a thing if they died?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we talked about
Hmm.
Gazgul Fracker.
Yeah,
There was
yeah,
Mad Doc Grotznik.
yeah.
Is the dude who I would guess that like a lot of the I a lot of the orcs have their own leaders and stuff, but unless they really like lead a big war or really kind of make a name for themselves, probably they just get they get xed out reasonably quickly, and for the most part, it seems in orc society like the person in charge tends to change reasonably quickly.
Because they just die. Plus, they have a very
Yeah,
short lifespan, right?
yeah. I would say if you get to the point where you're like a big warlord of a giant warg, you probably don't have to worry about like random squigs setting on fire because you know unless someone's put it in your bed as a joke or something, then maybe.
It is the best prank of all.
So buzzer squigs, they're little insect types.
Oh,
Again, they get put in a catapult and thrown at the enemy. They're just like a small swarm that kind of like they're a little bit like. Could you imagine slightly smaller flying piranhas?
not what I was thinking you were gonna say, but sure.
What were you think? What were you
I was
thinking? I was
like,
gonna
oh,
say
like squiggy mosquitoes.
no. Yeah, yes, like slightly smaller, I think, but they're not mosquito sized. They're like they're just kind of like yeah.
Yeah, like smaller than piranhas. Okay.
They pretty much the Gretchen go around finding like little packs of buzzer squigs, get them into a pot, put some air holes in it, and then the pot is like sealed, and then they shake it around every now and then to piss them off, let them get hungry, and then throw the pots at people.
That is the best. Oh, sorry.
The way they choose which pot to use is which one has the most angry buzzing. And obviously you get instances where like the Gretchen are carrying them to the launcher, or they're just transporting them around, drop them,
Hmm.
and it just goes bad. Um, there are the buzzing squig. Wait, which one's the buzzing squig? Oh, it's oh, God, it's a wind up. It's like a wind up aeroplane.
Right.
It has like a little propeller type things on its tail, which lets you kind of like twist it up, and then you can like throw it, and it. Shh,
Okay.
interesting.
As a squig.
Yeah.
Nice and dangerous. They're so fun. Should do like
Weird.
an all orc party, like an all bard party.
I mean, I have done before in the way in the past.
Yeah, but I
Um,
haven't seen it, so.
that's true. There's chewing squig.
Oh, does that like chew the food
It's
for the
like
orcs?
it's like chewing tobacco or like bubble gum.
But why does that need to exist?
Well, they can pop it in his he can pop it in his mouth and chew on it while he's thinking.
Oh, you mean the orc just chews them?
Yeah,
Okay. I don't know why I
yeah.
had a
So
vision of like a mother bird chewing the baby birds. For the orc.
No.
The orc is the baby. You see what I mean?
Like breaking up the food so that yeah.
Yeah. So the orc
No,
can
no,
eat it.
they just it's the squig itself is like bubblegum.
What was my like? Why did I go to that thought
I
process?
don't know. That's yeah, your brain is all over the place.
Oh dear.
There's a colossal squig.
Is it a big squig?
Oh, it's giant. It's like much bigger than dreadnoughts and tanks
Oh.
and stuff.
I'm a tank.
Yeah, it's just a big kind of you know Lord of the Rings, the big mammoth guys.
I think my brain's like stuck on the cave troll.
You know when they fight at the end of the third one, and they have those. They're like riding around those big mammoths. They have the tusks and
Yeah.
the people on top. Yeah, that kind of size.
Okay.
And they'll often put like a howdah on the top. You know, the kind of like little hut thing that you can like
Okay.
fire arrows from and shoot guns and stuff.
When you said big guys, I thought you meant like humanoid shape for some reason. I don't even.
No, just like
Well,
really.
I remember
proper,
really giant people. Just
proper-
the cave
proper
troll.
biggins. I did say mammoth.
I know. Look, I was thinking about baby birds just like 10 seconds ago. Me and brain.
You got eating squigs.
Look, now we're just talking about birds.
Are we?
Yes.
Okay.
No.
The eating squigs are essentially like a big blobby rectangle. They can barely move. They kind of flop around the place, and they're literally just for eating.
Oh.
I can probably. I think there's pictures of eating squigs. So some of them they just like are randomly mentioned or something. Oh yeah, there it is. He doesn't look the happiest.
I'd imagine not. Oh, okay.
so that's an eating squig.
It reminds me of
That fish.
well, the fish and also the robot machine in I've only seen it once, but Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Yeah.
I'm sure. Yeah, like that shape.
Yeah. I can't remember the.
Yeah, I saw it once years ago. So
Marvin?
That's a little robot, right?
Yeah. No, yeah.
I meant the
Deep Thought?
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe. Anyway, that's really really neither here nor. So that's an eating squig. It looks like that fish with a face, which is all like globby and sad. It was a meme a while back. You got guard squigs.
Mm-hmm.
They're essentially like attack squigs, but a lot less kind of like go get it. You know, a lot less like you let it loose and it attacks. It's a bit more loyal. It's a bit more kind of like canine in nature. So it's more like a guard dog than a feral tiger or something.
Then an attack dog, yeah.
You also have face eater squigs.
Let me guess what they do.
Okay.
Do they eat faces?
Yes.
Wow.
What I have just sent you is an image of a face eater squig during a face eating competition.
Well, let me. A competition?
Yes. It's like probably the orc's favorite game.
Oh, is the competition between the squig and the orc?
Yes.
Oh. Wow.
So how the face eater squigs work is they, like, as you can see, they just essentially they're not much of anything aside from just massive jaws.
Mm-hmm.
They pretty much just chomp and chomp and chomp and chomp. So what the orcs do is they have they have a game essentially. Sometimes a competition, sometimes an orc will just do it for fun or whatever, and they essentially like hold the face eater squig in front of their faces, open their mouths. The squig opens its mouth, and the contest is you shove it into your face and see who eats who.
It's a great game.
If the orc eats the squig, the orc wins. If the squig if the squig wins, then he eats the orc pretty much. So
works through the whole orc.
yeah. There's the flesh eater squigs.
Let me guess what they do.
Well, actually, interestingly, I think the flesh eater squigs they do have a tendency to eat eat flesh. Obviously, and I think the reason they're called that is because they oftentimes like captives and stuff are thrown to them. They're a bit more kind of like they've got a bit of a kind of crocodile-y stout vibe to them. Maybe a bit more reptilian. And the thing about them is that they have like massive rows of teeth that grow back really quickly.
Yeah.
So
I almost did a wait but now I'm just so aware of it.
Well, I may answer the question. So what they're used for a lot of time, they're reasonably rare. But if an orc has a flesh eater, generally they're either quite important and rich, or they become quite important or rich because of the teeth currency.
Yeah, that was my question.
Yes, squig teeth aren't as valuable as orc teeth, but they're still teeth and they're still money, you know?
Wait, so if they get humanoid or like even Tyranid or Eldar teeth, are they currency?
Yes. They're not as valuable as orc teeth because orc teeth are best.
Right, obviously.
But
if they were the best, they would be green.
I'm not. Yeah, it's true. Maybe. I think
green's the best.
Green is the best. It's true.
So, the best teeth are green.
Possibly. I'm a little like, this is where we get into bits where I'm like, I'm not 100% sure on this. I don't want to say for sure because someone will shout at me. Someone will invariably know or pretend they know, and sometimes these things just aren't fleshed out. But as far as I know, orcs do collect teeth from everyone and use them in kind of in trade and money. But the best teeth are orc teeth, and they're the most worthy, or the most they're worth the most. So it also depends how big the orc is. Like, the bigger the orc, the bigger the teeth. If you got teeth from like Gazgul Fraka or something like that, it'd probably be worth like a ridiculous amount, you know?
That would be. But then now there's like, is there a whole black market for fake teeth? But then would orcs lie? Because I doubt they're very good at it. But then they probably won't be able to see through lies either.
Maybe Gretchen, if any of them did do, orcs wouldn't do a black market in teeth probably. Maybe some of the more cunning ones, but unsure. I could see Gretchen doing it though, just as a way to get a little bit of an advantage over others, kind of thing. It's the type of thing Gretchen would do. You've also got gas squigs.
Right.
Toxic gas. They throw squigs in combat. Chemical weapon, basically.
I'm so shocked.
Hair squigs.
For toupees.
Yes. Orcs can't grow hair, but some of them like to or want to. Especially the blood axes, because the blood axes are a lot more like human. They like, they take human tactics and they use tactics like, hey, let's flank them instead of hey, let's charge. It's actually like, hey, let's charge from the side instead of hey, let's charge from the front. And other orcs are like, man, that's so lame.
That's so weird.
Yeah.
Like, who would even?
So silly. Yeah, the hair squigs essentially are like no legs, no eyes, pincer teeth. That's pretty much, they're like fairly small body as well. But just a crap ton of hair. So the orcs essentially like get them to clamp down on their head. And then they can essentially just like style the hair of the squig however they like, and that's their hair.
Do orcs ever get eaten by hair squigs?
No. They're very very literally just a little squig that latches onto an orc's head and gives it hair.
I just wonder what the squig's benefit is here.
I think it's kind of parasitic. So my guess would be it kind of like lightly feeds off the orc or something, but not that the orc would notice.
Little nibble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There are also herd squigs.
Herd?
Yes.
Like.
So like sheepdogs.
Oh, okay.
Hey, look.
Oh shit.
Oh, you're right.
Sorry, I just got gold paint on green, which is so annoying.
Oh.
This is why I do all the base colors first. Because if I'd have done all the highlights and everything, I'd have to redo all the hand. And I'm not about that. Anyway.
Yeah, herd squigs are essentially hunting dogs / herd dogs for like snotlings and Gretchen and stuff like that. Because very very often when they go to war, the orcs want some Gretchen and snotling there because they draw fire and they get in the way, and they're useful in that way. So
and
they'll
actually bring ammo.
Yeah, and for like lugging ammo and all the dirty jobs that the orcs can't be asked to do. So the Gretchen and snotlings tend to run away and hide when battles start and stuff. So the herd squigs are really useful because they're good at tracking and like basically finding, hiding snotling and Gretchen and herding them towards the battlefield. So that's what they're for.
Poor babies.
Horn squigs.
Do they give orcs horns like the hair squigs?
No, they just have horns.
Okay, well that's great.
Oh, the squigs themselves have horns. They aren't used to give like orcs horns or anything. As far as I know, they have horns. They ram things. That type of thing.
That's kind of useful, like a battering ram.
Yep. Oh, the juicy squig. A very rare and delicious type of eating squig that may perhaps be the only known orc delicacy.
So truffle.
Very rare, very hard to find. Probably it's one of those things that like an orc will try and get for his boss if he wants to, be in good standing, or a Gretchen doesn't want to get his ass kicked.
Yeah, the orc wants to be on the front lines, and the Gretchen wants to leave the front lines.
Yeah. There is the mimic.
Mimic. Excuse me?
And any guesses on what that one is?
Oh wait, no. Okay, I think it can mimic sounds.
Yes. It is the parrot squig.
You know how I know?
How?
Because I had like a power or a talent thing for mimic in the chaos.
True.
Ha.
Um, so yeah, it's like a little parrot like. I'll see if yeah, it's for some reason people have a tendency to mix up all the different squigs. This is someone, I think this is a custom job, but this is someone's representation of a mimic squig. Basically, just a parrot beak with squigginess.
That's cute.
Yeah, but they very often freebooters use them. The Orc Pirates,
Mm-hmm.
and they sit on the shoulders of orcs and basically shout insults and profanities at people.
Gonna say, yeah, I'm sure I've seen a mini of that too. Like,
Yeah.
I always end up looking at so many different minis.
Yeah. There's the oily squig.
Oily.
Yeah.
Does it provide oil?
Yeah. Yeah, basically.
The Orcs, seriously, have a brilliant naming convention.
Yeah, they really do. It's very simplistic, and it does what it says on the tin a lot of the time. They essentially like you got they create fuel for the vehicles.
Mm-hmm.
So like they're essentially like gas cans.
Yeah.
They just wander around. They also probably set on fire sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, it's war, isn't it? Or war. That's how I have to say
Yeah.
it because there's so many A's. There's so many A's.
War.
War.
That's pretty much what they are.
Okay,
Yeah.
little petrol cans. That's fine.
The Orchiosaurus.
Is that a dinosaur?
It's a squigoth. It's like a lot bigger. It's the biggest squig that exists.
You didn't tell me what a squigoth is. Wait, no, that's
Squigoth is I can actually send you a picture.
I'm like, we're jumping ahead here.
a little bit.
You need to tell me what a squigoth is before you say something's like a squigoth.
Well, Squigoth is coming up.
Do. Aw.
That's a Squigoth.
Okay. Yeah, so it's kind of like a dinosaur.
Yeah. And the Orchiosaurus is essentially when you let your Squigoths run rampant because you're like a feral orc tribe and you're just fighting each other and stuff. You don't really see Squigoths in Orc Wogs, War and stuff like that, but yeah. There's the paint squig. Essentially, it's like a squig that like excretes dye, different types of dyes.
Oh shit.
And it has a tuft of hair on it, so it lets them like paint war paint and like paint the side of their trucks and things like that.
Oh, I use it as a paintbrush too.
Yeah. I mean, if you're going to have a squig that like excretes Abaddon black, you may as well have it with a tuft of hair so you can also use it to paint things, right?
I love how practical the genetic engineering of all these were.
Yeah.
They need the aesthetic going on.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a parasite hunting squig. Essentially, they let them loose in areas where orcs are kind of, dirty and messy and stuff, and it just like clears out all the random lice and leeches and random crap.
Again, that's actually quite useful.
Yeah, well, like the thing is the parasite hunting squig is like a little squig that runs around and eats all the random, just parasites that are around the orc camp. Once it's completely full, it essentially goes like unconscious and just kind of like just like lies there, and then the orc will eat it.
I was just thinking they could throw it at their enemy's camp. Man, they need to. They could put it inside a stomach with a bomb squig. Throw those three, but tactics are evil.
I-
So
yeah, I mean, why do that when you could just eat it? It's
yeah,
tasty.
that's true.
You got this. You got the screech squig.
Screech, 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 or just one screech?
Screech the screech squig.
The
Essentially,
screech.
essentially the screech squig stars in a TV show in the 80s, and then like 20 years later releases a sex tape that no one cares about.
Okay.
No, that just, do you get that reference?
No. Some of
Screech
us
is
are a little bit older than the others.
Screech is Dustin Diamond. He's an actor who starred in Saved by the Bell. He played a character called Screech.
Oh, okay.
And that was the only thing he was ever really known for or did anything with until like in the mid 2000s. He like jumped on the bandwagon of all the celebrities who were releasing sex tapes.
What a weird time the early 2000s was.
Right?
Like, you just kind of forget that it happened.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah. Huh.
Yeah. Well, gets your name out there, I guess. Mini-Me released one?
No. That is
Yeah.
like, why? I just... Anyway.
Yeah. The screech squig. Sorry, I can't say that word. Just essentially makes loud noises. It's kind of like an alarm or like a loudspeaker kind of thing. The spiky squig, covered in spikes.
Wow. I did never got it.
Yeah. The splodin squig.
But they already have a bomb squig.
They do.
This is just greed. Greed.
So essentially it's a squig with like quite a few different stomachs that contain like each different one contains a different chemical. Essentially you like when it gets pissed off, the chemicals combine and it explodes. It's essentially like either a grenade or a mine, and sometimes they feed the squig like some metal crap so that it's like a nail bomb or something. It's a squidgeon.
Is it a pigeon?
It is, yeah. They use it to send messages sometimes in the feral tribes.
Oh.
the Squig Hawk.
Is it a hawk?
Yeah. They're actually large enough to eat orcs. They're a bit bigger than hawks.
Do they spell it like orc?
They don't, weirdly. It's just a Squig Hawk.
This is terrible. Terrible.
I mean, you've got Squidgeon. Like,
No.
I think that's...
It's not okay.
No?
No. I'm going to write to
there's
Games Workshop.
Okay.
Write him a letter.
The Squig Hounds, also known as Growler Squigs. They're attack squigs that
That growl?
yeah. They're kind of a bit like guard dogs, but they're a lot more doggy. They're like properly shaggy, hairy squigs that kind of scurry around and yap.
Yep.
And then occasionally go nuts and like rip the ankles off an orc. You got the Squig Pipes.
Pipes?
Uh-huh.
Like, they're a pipe? Sorry, this is
So-
really difficult to sort of reach this paint job at the moment. Ugh.
So the Squig Pipes, there we go. I'll send you a picture because you can probably guess what they are, like, thinking about it, but I guess that picture will do. There you go. That's Squig pipes.
Oh, it's a bagpipe, like music
It's
player.
a bagpipe. It's just a squig.
I was just thinking
Yeah.
of like that
Just like a
old
pipe.
computer game, you know, Pipe.
Oh, pipeline or pipe.
Yeah, but just Squigs.
Yeah. No. It's quite literally just a musical instrument. They
Okay.
blow into it. It makes noises. Annoys everyone.
Nice and loud.
Squig sharks.
Sharks.
Yes, I don't like them.
You don't. I was about to say you won't like those.
I do not. But yeah,
I'm running out of space here. Like I can't even like angle my paintbrush to get to the gun.
there is also the Great White Squig, which is a more recent thing that you saw it, right?
Yeah, because I was thinking about painting it.
Yeah, no, it's really cool, but it's I was like, no, we'll go for a more standard orky. He's looking really cool, by the way. Like, especially all the bronzy gold and
yeah. He's taken a little while. But I'm trying to keep it as neat as I can so that I don't have to clean much up. Which is why it's taking that time. I do have to clean up like some silver. I've got some black to do and some green, but like overall, not too much.
yeah.
So, like, I'm pretty happy with how neat it's gone. I've got the bullet casings, whatever the fuck they're called, to
The
paint.
thing is belt. I think it's belt because it's like a belt fed.
I was like, what have I missed on the belt? I don't think yeah, I don't think there's much else that I want to do in this bronzy color, apart from like there is, but it's hard to do. So I think it's time for another color now.
Ooh. Well, I think we're getting to the end of the episode.
Yes, I think that we are.
So, what I will say very quickly, there's also the stick squig, swab squig, syringe squig, vaccine squig, vampire squig, and weird squig.
Weird squig, like
weird boys. They're psychic. They're much like many of the squigs. They're essentially used as a bomb, except for it's a psychic bomb. they like blow up psychically.
Yeah, that could be really helpful because then they will also get demons. Sometimes.
Yeah, who doesn't love demons?
Whoever you're fighting.
Yeah. But yeah, no, they're just a psychic bomb. The vampire squig is a medical instrument used for like sucking out blood and pus and things in bad wounds and stuff. Vaccine squig boosts immune systems when you eat it. Syringe squig is a syringe, and swab squig is a kind of haired squig, but it's a lot longer and a lot more like fancy.
Very fancy.
Oh, and one extra interesting thing before we finish up. Or like maybe interesting, I don't know. In older lore, the squigs actually came from Tyranids, essentially consuming orcs and then using their DNA. You know how Tyranids. I guess we haven't really spoken about it because we haven't spoken about Tyranids. I sense a wait so.
No, because we spoke about it a little bit in the Eldar episodes, and I know that they kind of absorb part of what they consume. So that's why I referenced it earlier. But like that's super interesting.
Yeah, they essentially the Tyranids ate the 8 orcs and then produced squigs from them. Like that's how the squigs came into existence in the older canon. And essentially when we talk about the squigs, we'll talk about the about the Ripper Swarms, but that's kind of what the Ripper Swarms turned into. In the old canon, in the old lore, the orcs essentially one day discovered Squigs on a Tyranid ship, and were like, "Oh, these are orcs," and took them with them, and that's how Squigs came into existence.
Oh, orcs. I mean, maybe it's all a grand plan that the
Yeah,
Tyranids.
it's probably Zinch.
It was Angel. Oh my
It was
goodness.
Zinch all along.
It was.
But yeah, no, that's no longer canon. It was just something, that was lore for a little while, and I guess it didn't really work out or anything. But it's a cool little trivia fact.
So you mean the actual truth?
Yes, the actual truth that the Emperor doesn't want you to know because he wants to carry on sitting in his lounge eating eyes.
Mother. I'll just censor myself there, shall I?
I mean, if you want, I'm fine with it.
Well, I've got the tiniest little bit amount of gold to do, and then we can wrap up this episode.
Oh, okay.
So finickety. You could talk to me about painting. Like, when are you gonna paint?
I have no plans to paint.
Why not? Does my
I don't have.
concentration level not like endear you to it? Don't you miss being in pain as you try and reach certain freaking points in the model so you can paint them?
I am tempted a little bit,
Yeah.
because I love 40k so much.
I'll send you an orc if you wanna paint it.
I'd have to get the paints and get the setup, and
But you could though.
I wonder if there's a walkable Games Workshop near me. I think there is.
How exciting.
I'm tempted. It would be fun to do some streams of it or something,
Glod. There's probably some more to do, but I'm injuring myself at this point.
Oh yeah.
It's taken me an hour to just do this Balthazar gold, which looks quite purpley in here almost. It's weird, but it comes out really, actually bronze, which is nice. But plenty more for me to do. So let's do a little thank you. An outro.
There's a model store kind of near me, and there's a Games Workshop kind of near me too. So
Perfect.
interesting.
So
where is that? Have I passed that? Sorry, I'm like,
I don't know. Have you? So
I know where that is. Okay, damn.
So if you want to see Sheepy paint,
yeah,
then feel free to drop a comment, say some stuff in Discord or on Twitter. Let us know. Thank you very much for watching these episodes.
Yes.
I will be continuing to paint and get this done at some point. But for now, that is going to wrap up the orcs. So let's say thank you very much to our current patrons. We've got Ian, Mark, Numbers, Particularly Money, Damned Man, Ramona, V Mushroom, Retrograde Vector, Azean, and Grey Blue One. So thank you so much for making this possible with, making me able to get the paints and the models. There are Patreon perks if you guys want to support the content, I guess. What's the word I was reaching for there? You can check that out on patreon.com/40,000 layers, including polls to decide what the next episode topic will be.
I really need more of you guys for that because they keep drawing the fucking things.
They're massive trolls. They keep making it a tie. It's something. December is the Emperor. And
do you wanna?
I want to grab the mini?
Yeah, grab the mini.
I'm gonna have to take my headset off real quick because
It's all right. I'll keep going.
Okay.
So you can become a patron. There's different tiers. Kind of. It's not super divisive what the tiers do. It's fairly you tend to get the majority of everything regardless of the tier you are. So you can support for a tiny amount, or you can jump in. Essentially, we have some goals on the Patreon. You can go check out, see what we're aiming for. Every $25, we'll release another Space Marine Legion episode where we talk about, for example, Magnus and how he did nothing wrong. We talk a bit about the Space Marine Legion. We talk a bit about the Primarch, and we're going through and recording those, so you'll be able to see them along with. Is it sped up footage of, or just footage of painting?
It will be sped up
painting?
because I didn't realize how much I painted of Voxmas. I don't know how many hours there are, but there are several.
Okay.
So yeah, I will sync it.
you'll get to see it's us just chatting without the painting, and also there's some footage of painting as well, which Tash has done. So
but the mini for December, and I think this is very appropriate for the Emperor.
Me too.
Is really shiny. First of
really
all,
shiny.
Really shiny because it was wrapped in plastic. The Red Gobble and Bouncer. So this is a limited run Christmas mini from Games Workshop, the commemorative series. And as you can see,
still a little bit shiny.
I know, it's plastic. Okay, what do you want me to do? So we can see some of the detailing here. If I hold this up, he's adorable. He's got a little Christmas tree and bauble on his tail.
Yeah, and it is Warhammer 40k. So before anyone's like, "Oh, is that fantasy?" No, it's not fantasy. It's 40k.
But yes, that is going to be interesting to paint.
Yes, and that will also be on the. We'll be recording that and live streaming it on Tash's channel on the 2nd of December.
Oh my god, time is flying.
It really is, isn't it?
Oh boy.
Do you think we should be promoting the Patreon? Because once it gets to a certain level, we have to do 2 a month.
Yeah. I mean, I'm painting anyway.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
For me, it's gonna work out better.
Because
I don't have to I don't have to paint and also do all my other jobs at the same time.
Yeah. So it's just bad for me, who will have to do more and more research as time goes on.
You're just gonna have to indulge my weights.
Wait.
More. So but yeah, thank you again so much for watching, and hopefully we'll see you next time.